Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Marion J08 here, and this is my year-end series that I've been doing. You saw my Game of the Year awards. This is the next topic that I want to cover. This is a big one. This is my picks for the best of last gen. That's right. Now, this covers the Wii, this covers the PlayStation 3, and this covers the Xbox 360, because we are now in the next gen, so now the current gen is now last gen. And this was an important one, and as you can see, I made a lot of notes. And it will be too long to talk, about each single game, so I'm going to roughly go through my list here. This is just my personal picks. What happened was I just sat down, I really thought about it. This all came from my head, from experience, from playing. This has a lot to do with how much time did I spend in the game, did I get my money's worth? How many hours did I log into all these games? The quality, the graphics, the sound, the music, the score, the dialogue, the story, the gameplay. These range from everything from sports games to racing games to fighting games to adventure games to horror games. Everything. Whatever was the best of the last generation. This spans 3 console systems. And excuse me if I forgot a lot of them. This just came from the top of my head, so whatever I was thinking about when I made this list, what stood out to me at the time is what you'll see covered here. And I'm going to start going over them. And if you haven't seen my other year-end series, I did do a Game of the Year awards where I talked a little bit about each game. But this one, I'm just going to mostly go through each one. I may talk about a few of them. But you're going to see my picks, and this is solely my picks. This isn't based on the mainstream media. This isn't based on reviews. This is based on what you've probably seen me play on my channel. And if you didn't see me play on the channel, it's games that I played off camera that I really enjoyed throughout the years. And like I said, this is spanning from when these systems came out all the way to this year. So this is everything from last gen. This is the best. I was going to do a best and worst, but I'd rather really not talk about the worst. You could figure that out on your own. There's quite a few bad ones though. But for my year-end series, I wanted to specifically concentrate on the best of. What I enjoyed, what memories and what games am I going to leave this generation with remembering going into the PS4 and the Xbox One and the Wii U? What am I going to remember from the last 3 systems? That's what this is. So let's get into it. And this is in no order either, like from 1 to 10 or 1 to 60 or 1 to 50. This is in no order at all. This is just how they came to my head. There is 61 here. So let's get right into it then, because we got a big list. Mass Effect 3. Forza 4. That's right. And the reason why is because I'm a huge racing fan, and Forza 4 is probably the most game out of every game that I played last generation that I logged hundreds of hours on. I mean, hundreds. Here's another one. Oblivion. Another game where I spent hundreds of hours on. Okay, number 4, Skyrim. My favorite, number 1 of the last gen. My number 1. Another game that I spent countless hours on and enjoyed. And as a matter of fact, those of you that follow the channel, I still go back to Skyrim every now and then and still have never-ending side quests that keep coming up. So that game is just a massive, tremendous game. I can't wait to see what the Elder Scrolls do on the next generation of systems. I can only imagine. StarCraft 2. You'll also see some PC games here as well. Diablo 3. Another game that I spent a lot of time on. Heavy Rain, one of my favorites from PS3. One of my all-time favorites. The Orange Box. Portal 2. Another one of my number 1 favorites. Here's one of my all-time favorites. The Walking Dead, which is one of my top games of all time. Absolutely amazing game, amazing story. I can't wait for the 2nd season to start. Telltale Games has been busy doing a lot of different series. We got The Wolf Among Us, which is really shaping up to be an awesome game, which will be covered next year on my channel. But episode 2. But yeah, The Walking Dead. What an amazing, amazing journey. I can't wait to see what the 2nd season brings. Phenomenal. Definitely check that out. Journey. Another great indie game that I enjoyed immensely. Fantastic. Very different, but that's what I think sets it off aside from everything else. BioShock, the first BioShock. BioShock Infinite. Assassin's Creed 2, that was kind of hard to come about, but that is one of my all-time favorite Assassin's Creed games. It was either going to be that one or the first one, so I wrote the second one down. Gran Turismo 5, another game on the PS3 that I spent countless hours on. I'm a big racing fan, and just like Forza, I dumped a lot of time into Gran Turismo 5. Burnout Paradise, one of my most favorite games, funnest games that I've played. Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto 5, Fallout 3, right up there with the Elder Scroll games. I mean, Bethesda's amazing. Another game that I spent a lot of time on. Of course, the next one is Fallout New Vegas. Another game that I spent a tremendous amount of time on that I'm still not completely done with. I didn't even touch a lot of the DLCs for those games yet. So, The Last of Us. That's right, The Last of Us. Those of you that saw my Game of the Year awards, I said that The Last of Us was one of my favorites, and it is. Maybe the all-time best of last gen. I think that game was tremendous. If you notice, a lot of these games that are on here, a lot of them came from this year, and you know what that reason is? Well, how I see it is because it's the end of the life cycle, and they're just putting out the best. They're a lot of times, it's both ways. A lot of times the games are rushed because these developers and companies are planning on next gen, so they rush their games out. But then you have it on the other end of the spectrum where some of the games are phenomenal because they're at the end of the life cycle of the system and they know how to take advantage of the technology. And that's why you get these quality games like BioShock Infinite, Tomb Raider, Ni no Kuni, The Last of Us. You get these phenomenal top-notch games that are at their peak of the system. I still see a lot of life left in these systems as well. That's why they're going to be supported for a long time yet. Now look how long the PlayStation 2 is supported for. L.A. Noire, another phenomenal game. Absolutely stunning game. Uncharted 3. Little Big Planet. Street Fighter 4, one of my all-time favorite fighting games of this generation. You cannot deny the mass playability of that game. Fable 3, Red Dead Redemption, Metal Gear Solid 4, Halo 3. And we got some Wii games here. The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword was one of my favorite Zelda games on the Wii. It was phenomenal. Super Smash Bros. Brawl, another game that I spent countless hours with. Same with this game, Mario Kart for the Wii. Another game that I spent hours and hours on, online. I still do the online lobbies and tournaments every day when I get notifications to go online for a special tournament or something. I absolutely love playing that game online. My cousins come, friends come, it's still the game that we play together. It's just, I got the Wii wheel, it's phenomenal. Batman Arkham Asylum. Dishonored. That's right, Dishonored. Remember Dishonored? That was a phenomenal game. One of my all-time favorites. Alan Wake. Tomb Raider. That's right. They're actually rebooting it for the PS4 and Xbox One. But you know what? Tomb Raider on the PS... I got it on the PS3. I thought it was phenomenal. I thought the graphics were stunning. I can only imagine what that game's going to look like on next gen, if it looks this good now. Here's one that you might find interesting. Dante's Inferno. That's right, Dante's Inferno. The reason why I made this list is because I absolutely loved that game. I loved the story. I loved the graphics. I loved the boss battles. Yeah, you could say it was a ripoff of God of War. You could say that it took a lot from God of War. You know what? That necessarily doesn't mean it's a bad thing. If it's done right, no matter how much it is, I mean, everything is inspired from everything. Whether it's a music band, a band, a movie, a game, everything has to be inspired from something, and it may not have brought nothing new to the table that God of War already did, but I thought of what Dante's Inferno did, I thought it was great. I actually enjoyed it a lot more than God of War Ascension. So, The Witcher 2. Looking forward to Witcher 3. I think that game is going to be a beast. Witcher 2 was a beast. I mean, it was a phenomenal game. Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii. I thought that was a phenomenal platformer. Final Fantasy 13. I remember first seeing that game, my jaw just dropped. I thought that was an amazing game. I really enjoyed that game. Again, that's another game where a lot of people weren't too crazy about it, but I was. And Justice Gods Among Us, another phenomenal fighting game this generation. I thought it was a beautiful game. I actually got it on Next Gen, but I originally got it on the Wii U, but it is on the PS3 and Xbox 360, and it is a phenomenal game. It's a great fighting game. Ni no Kuni for the PS3, an exclusive. What a great JRPG from Studio Ghibli. Definitely got to check out Ni no Kuni. It's a blast. It's very unique. Mortal Kombat 9, another phenomenal fighter this generation. There's no doubt about it. Back to the Wii, Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. Two of my most favorite Mario games. I cannot wait to see the next Galaxy on the Wii U. I hope they do it. I'm sure they will. Phenomenal game in my opinion. Phenomenal. Wii Sports. Come on, you can't deny that. I mean, look at that game, how massive that was when it came out. And you know what? I spent a lot of hours playing with family and friends with that bowling game, so it's definitely worthy of this list. Wii Sports. Very fun. And you know what? That's what games are all about. It's not always about graphics. It's not always about story. It's about the gameplay, and it's about having fun, and how much time did you log into that game, and how many times did you go back to play that game. That's what this list is about. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. That to me, that's when Call of Duty peaked. To me, that's Call of Duty in its prime. Here's another interesting choice: Animal Crossing for the Wii, City Folk. You know why? Because another game that I spent countless hours on. I loved how it had the real-time gameplay mechanic. I loved how the stores would close after a certain time. How each day was different. There was different events. Awesome game. Metroid Other M, another phenomenal game I loved on the Wii. Another Wii game, Kirby's Epic Yarn. I just thought that game was so unique looking. Yeah, it was easy. Yeah, it was it was a breeze to play through, but it was a phenomenal game, and I really did enjoy it, and that's why I made this list. Mirror's Edge, another phenomenal game. Borderlands 1 and 2, that's right, one of my favorite first-person shooters of this generation. Borderlands is a phenomenal game. If you haven't checked them out yet, which you probably should have already, I definitely would check it out. And here's going to be a controversial game that you're going to go, oh my god, what the hell, you put that on this list? That's right, I did, and I'll explain why. Resident Evil 6. A lot of people panned it. The whole old stuff, survival horror. But you know what? If you take Resident Evil, and I'm going to say it again, I said it during the unboxing of the game last year. If you take Resident Evil 6 for what it is, aside from its past, and you saw what a lot of mainstream reviewers managed not to do, review it for what it is, and everything else in that year that it stacked up against, and how that game production was, I thought Resident Evil 6 was phenomenal. It was like a Michael Bay action movie. It was phenomenal. The cutscenes were phenomenal. The graphics were phenomenal. I thought the gameplay was great. I had no problems with it. I thought the story was very good. I liked how you switched back and forth and played all different characters, and then it all meshed at the end. I didn't have a problem with Resident Evil 6. I wasn't crazy about 5. But, you could say the same thing about 5. You've got to base it on what it is. I thought Resident Evil 6 was a great game. I really did. And it's a shame because it got compared to Resident Evil 1. It got compared to Resident Evil 4. It got compared to, it's not how long can you do jump scares with people? How long can you keep having the same survival horror game over and over again? When do you have to step it up and change things and start bringing other elements into your franchise? And I thought Resident Evil 6 did that, and that's why it's on this list. Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends. Two phenomenal platformers. I think they're top-notch. Dead Space 2. Dead Island, the first Dead Island. What a blast that was to play. Crysis 2. Catherine. Left 4 Dead 2. God of War 3. God of War 3 is the reason why I bought a PlayStation 3. What an absolutely phenomenal game. I really do believe that God of War 3 was one of my most favorite PS3 games. One of them. I had a ton of fun playing that game. And last but not least, Beyond Two Souls. Again, Quantic Dream, David Cage, the creator of Heavy Rain, which is another game on my list. Beyond Two Souls was phenomenal. I thought Ellen Page did a phenomenal job in that game. William Dafoe. I thought that game was well made. I thought that game was very well done. Again, it's another game that had mixed reviews because reviewers didn't want to take the time and enjoy the game. They said it was confusing. It was not. In the end, I feel that they cleared the ending up. I thought it really was a good conclusion. I thought all that time put into the game made sense at the end. And it wasn't really all about gameplay. It was about the story. If they wanted to make a game where, David Cage doesn't do that. He's a storyteller. It's a graphic novel, kind of almost like The Walking Dead. You've got to play through it to experience the story. It's not all about controls and gameplay. These games are on this list because they're the best at what they do. These games are not trying to do what other games do. They're doing their own thing. Whether it's gameplay, whether it's story, whether it's graphics, whether it's the soundtrack, the music, the score, it's the best of everything that you should see in a video game, and that's what I feel made this list. So that is my best of last gen. I can't wait going into the next gen. It's only the beginning, and already the launch titles have me impressed. I can only imagine a few years from now, or when they really find out the advantages of the hardware, what these games are going to be like, and also what the next E3 and the following E3 is going to be like. Now that the hardware's out, let's see what the software can do. I'm really, really looking forward to it. Thanks a lot for joining me on my best picks of the last gen. Hope you join me for the rest of my year-end series. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I'll talk to you again soon. Peace out.